Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at 3 different teams in the Open Master League that don't need any legendary Pokemon. Why? Because in my recent videos for top teams for the Master League, there was never really a team that did not use legendaries, and a lot of people were complaining about the fact that there's basically no chance of playing the Master League if you don't have legendaries built, which cost a lot of monies. And as I'm a person that has quite a lot of them built, I kinda wanted to see how it's going to be if you don't use them. And so we're going to have 3 different teams here today that I'm going to showcase, and I'm going to talk about if they are good and if they are not good. So first team here, basically the classic one. We're going to have 3 battles for the first team here. I did a little bit more, which I'm going to talk about as well, but 3 battles I'm going to show you here today. This is going to be the classic one. We're going to have the lead of the Dragonite, the Sayswap of the Excadrill, and in the back we're going to have the Metagross lurking to beat down some Fairy type Pokemon, which seems to be very solid on paper. This team has been basically the best possible team that you can run without legendary Pokemon for several seasons, and I have not included at all, nice catch by the way by the opponent here, I haven't included this team at all in any of my recent top team videos. Why? Because I feel like this team does not work anymore. And after battling with this team, what do I think about this team? I think this team does not work anymore, and this is kind of a sad thing about it. We can talk a little bit about here as well, as basically every Lugia I encounter, if they go for Aeroblast, they always boost against me. That's super annoying. I don't know why. It's literally not a 12.5% chance, it feels like, but we can still have a decent start here because we can just let this move go through. We can go back into our Dragonite, we can farm them down even though they do a ton of damage. We should be able to reach 2 Dragon Claws in time against the opponent's Giratina, and so we should be able to win the first battle here. But why is this team problematic? Basically, there's one Pokemon that is going to basically destroy the entire team. What Pokemon might it be? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? It is going to be not the Pokemon here. Ho-Oh is going to be fine for us. Ho-Oh is something that we kind of want to bait out anyway. It is going to be the Landorus. Landorus is going to be too tricky for this team. Why? Because basically, Landorus, as soon as the opponent has it in the back and you have to Sayswap anyway, this is going to be an ABB style line as well, so Sayswapping is quite common for it. As soon as they're going to have a Landorus in the back, it's basically game over. Why? Because they can just go for a Sancia Storm against your little mole there of the Excadrill, and then they can just even generate more energy and farm up extra to go for Stone Edges, and you're basically so insanely far behind that you have no chance of winning this game anymore. And here we're gonna see me actually charging or waiting out the clock a little bit for the opponent to get more damage onto me or even knock me out, because if they knocked me out I would have farmed them down with the Excadrill, getting up some rock slides for the opponent's Ho-Oh, and here as they tried to not knock me out there, I was able to just get myself so low that I'm going to be able to align myself accordingly. We're going to see the Dialga coming in. I could have also decided to just go for the full farm down here, to be fair, which might have been the better play, because then I would have had 99 energy or 100 energy, and I would be able to go for those rock sites fairly easily. But still, I can reach at least 2 more rock sites here, and I'm hopefully going to be able to still win this game. But honestly, this is going to be a very, very close battle, because now, as you can see, I can still get to another charge move. This is going to get the final shield by them, but I don't really have energy on my Dragonite, and so I have to make a call here that this is going to be a bait. If it's going to be a Brave Bird, I lose. It is a Brave Bird, and I still win because he can still survive on Incinerate, and so we're going to be able to knock them out. Okay, next opponent. Primarina lead, of course, horrible for us. We can swap out immediately into our Sayswap, and we're gonna get a Kyogre in the back. This is not ideal for us. How did this team work out for me? I went for 7 games with this team because I expected that this team might be still the best one, because it was the best team to use back in the day, and I went 2 and 5. So this kind of showcases this team is most likely not really that usable anymore. But fear not, citizens, there are going to be some nice teams coming up soon as well, and there's going to be one team that definitely can compete against all the legendary Pokemon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But here, we're going to see Kyogre, we're going to basically get completely hard-won as they're going to have the Giratina in the back. Let's move on just to the next team here. So, we're going to swap our team completely actually. Not a single Pokemon is going to be still in here. By the way, every Pokemon that I'm going to showcase today is going to be a Hunter, which is kind of funny. But yeah, we're going to have a team now of the Mamoswine lead, which I quite enjoy. Like, this Pokemon is really good to play, so like Mamoswine, definitely don't underestimate it. It's like great in the current meta, as you can catch actually a close combat here from the opponent's Zacian. Of course, it can still go for a Wild Charge. But here we're going to see also a little bit of a problem maybe for this team. I guess it's not really a problem. Landorus is kind of fine for this team as well, so Landorus is cool for this one. This team worked way better already compared to the first team that I showcased. This team is going to have the lead of the Mamoswine, which is really great in the lead. Like, against something like a Dialga, you can usually get to 3 Avalanches, which is kind of nice. You're going to have the Say-Swap of our Gyarados, and look at this, by the way, we can knock out the opponent's Landorus, and they had already enough, and we can move on to the second opponent. We're going to have in the back here, of course, the Togekiss, and this is something that I kind of want to talk about. If we had Primarina in the back, I think this team would have been even better. I don't want to build a Primarina currently, because we are going to expect a C-Day very soon. This is kind of silly for me as a content creator. If you have the Elite TMs anyway, you can build it already and then just use an Elite TM for the Hydro Cannon. But yeah, basically, I would recommend you to use Primarina in the back here, which is also going to be, of course, a non-legendary Pokemon. I think this team would be way, way better. Togekiss is just going to make yourself a little bit too weak against certain kind of Pokemon, like even a Landorus with the Stone Edge. You're going to be better off with the Primarina there, in my opinion, as well, because it's not going to be doing super effective damage against you, just neutral damage. So here, for example, the opponent was able to farm down a Pokemon, and now they have so much energy that I'm going to be in a very tough spot. The Stone Edge is coming through. They're going to have a Zygarde, luckily, in the back, and so we can just go ahead and go for the full farm run against the opponent. They cannot do anything. This is literally the perfect matchup where also kind of showcase why Togekiss might be a very good Pokemon still to play in the current meta, as we're going to see Togekiss again in the final team for today's video as well. Again, there's going to be 3 battles for this team, and for the final one, we're going to actually have 5 battles coming up, so stay tuned for this. We're going to see that we can knock them out here, and we can get out the opponent's Landorus. As we can go for the Ancient Power, we can even reach out for 1 Aura Sphere. We get the boost here, which literally doesn't matter, but it's going to be still fun to knock them out with an Aura Sphere. So, how did this team go for me? So, in total, I played 6 battles with this team. Like, before I went for 7, I played 4 sets total for all the teams that I have here on this video. So, 20 battles total with the 3 teams, with 7 for the first one, 6 for the second one, and 7 for the final one. Here we're going to see that I went 3-3 with this team. So, kind of going to showcase again, like, this team is definitely solid. You can play it. It is going to be an okay team to play. For me, honestly, the biggest like downside of this team is going to be Gyarados. I feel like Gyarados kind of didn't really do anything. It kind of needed to be a little bit faster or a little bit stronger, but like it did not really do anything for me. So if you have like something like a Mewtwo, maybe used as a Say-Swap for this team, I think this team would be way, way better than it is currently. Gyarados for me, definitely the worst Pokemon of this team, which I would kind of swap out if you have like a legendary for it instead, or even Dialga would most likely work out. But you kind of need a Pokemon that can beat Ho-Oh. And this is another like issue for this team. It was also why I kind of would rather have the Primarina in the back, which you can see as well. The matchup against Ho is just so much worse if you don't have your Gyarados anymore, so we're going to lose this one. Final team. This team was honestly the best of them all. This team was amazing, and again, I feel like if you would have something like a Primarina in the lead, you might be even a little bit better off. And this team is kind of unbalanced and doesn't really make crazy amount of sense, I feel like. As we're going to have a team here with the Hisuian Everluck as our Say-Swap and also our Dragonite in the back. But usually you kind of want to stay in and try to align yourself, and Togekiss is perfect for this. And this is like a very strong strategy in the current meta. Togekiss lead is amazing because he can basically beat nearly everything in the current meta, which is kind of wild. So definitely something I would recommend you to do. And I went a total of 6-1 with this team, which is just kind of mad. The opponent makes a huge mistake here, by the way, of swapping out, and we can move on to the next opponent. The one game that I lost with this team was also a hard wall against me, so like it's something where you couldn't really do anything for me, and so it is definitely a solid team, but there's still of course some weaknesses, and this is something that I kind of want to talk about here as well. For example, Solgaleo can be a little bit tricky. We encountered actually directly here, which is kind of hilarious because I did not know this, but you can actually still beat it kind of with your Dragonite. It's okay, and especially as we were able to hit the Aura Sphere, we're going to have some prior damage on them, which is kind of lovely. Fast move of the opponent, of course, is resisted. Ours is also resisted, and we do neutral damage with the superpower, which is kind of great. So we can take another move here from the opponent. We can take that Psychic Fang, and we can try to go for a superpower against them here as well. This is going to be able to hopefully knock them out. It is, and so we can align ourselves. It's going to be a Tapu Bulu in the back, and this is going to be a little bit of a tough one. Tapu Bulu is going to be tricky for this team as well, at least. Like, I mean, it's actually kind of okay. We're just going to be in a weird spot as we are swapping out at the same time. This is kind of unfortunate. I would have just rather stayed and go straight for a superpower, but it is what it is. I can still try to get the knockout here, and I hope that they use a shield, but they didn't, and so it is going to be a little bit tough because they have 100 energy on the Tapu Bulu, and I make a great play here. I call that this is going to be a Nature's Madness, that they just throw blind, and they do exactly this. And with this, we're going to be in a spot where I can just use my shields. I still have another shield left afterwards, and I do quite a lot of fast move damage against the opponent with my Everluck, and this is my win con, just farming them down, winning this game, and moving on to the next opponent. Again, this team also is not perfect. Here I wanted to swap out a little bit earlier. Honestly, I completely forgot that the Everluck here as well got Icy Wind. Forgot that this Pokemon also had it. I was kind of expecting something like an Avalanche here, but Icy Wind is going to be a little bit more annoying. We can go for our Rock Slide. We're going to have a better fast move and better coverage and a super effective typing anyway here. And so we have two Ice Tables going up against each other. But this Rock Slide is going to connect. It is going to be able to hopefully knock them out. It does knock them out, and so we can realign. Here, maybe I should have went for an Icy Wind. An Icy Wind would have allowed me to force them to basically throw some energy against me, which would have been great, as now they can actually farm me all the way down. I can still go for another Rock Slide, but if I went for an Icy Wind early on, they would have not been able to farm me down before I can get to another Rock Slide here, but sadly, we just didn't do this, so they have a ton of energy now. They could farm us all the way down, and we are going to use a shield here, but they're swapping out into the Kyogre. It is going to be a Shadow variant. If you have a Shadow variant of the Kyogre or Groudon fully maxed out, definitely let me know. I would like to showcase those battles as well. There's always a link in the description, by the way, if you want to send in battles. For example, yesterday we had some battles with Keldeo XL form as well, which someone sent in, so always appreciate those more special stuff that you send in. Like, if it's something which just like completely standard team, it's mostly not something I'm going to feature because I could just do the gameplay as well, but like those special things I'm really always interested in. Next opponent, we're going to have here a Dialga again, normal Dialga, which is kind of interesting. Very okay matchup for the Togekiss. I usually just play out the Zero Shield because it's going to allow me to get a shield advantage, but they swap out anyway into the Landorus, allowing us to go into our Hisuian Everluck. We can take a move. Maybe it is smart to use a shield on the first one, but I kind of did not really want to give up a shield here yet. And so I can go for an Icy Wind. The opponent decides to use a shield, which is great for me, as I can just go ahead and use a shield as well. And so now they're going to be in an interesting spot as, yeah, I can go for another charge move. Do they want to use a shield here or not? They do most likely not want to use a shield here. And we're going to still have the same amount of shields as the opponent as I can reach for another Icy Wind. Icy Wind is coming through, going to drop the opponent's attack. We are still a little bit debuffed, so it doesn't really do a ton of damage, but we can basically force the opponent to go for a charge move against our Togekiss. And as the opponent's debuffed as well, I think I'm going to be in an okay spot, but they swap out immediately into the Ho-Oh. And again, I have to kind of make a call here. And I'm going to call that they are going to go for the Sacred Fire in order to try to drop my attack. And they decide to go ahead and do exactly this. This is going to be amazing for me, because now I can go for the Dragon Claw. The opponent is going to let this move go through, interestingly enough. I don't think they got the debuff, and I can use a shield now. But here is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. As they get the debuff now, they can still get another Incinerate in. And this is going to be a little bit awkward because now we are very close to getting Dragon Breath down. But luckily, we were able to get still off 2 charge moves here against the opponent's superpower. Is going to knock them out. And we can move on to the final battle of today. So again, if you enjoy this type of videos, really would appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. There's of course a little bit more work to do than like a normal video for the Master League, but I feel like it's kind of more showcasing towards on what is decent and what is not. Again, I feel like Double Charm especially would be very good to play if you don't have the legendary Pokemon build, but this team was amazing. Like, this team was really, really good. I felt kind of decent. Again, only thing that I could, like, that could be a little bit tricky, and especially higher up elo range, is going to be Solgaleo. Solgaleo is just tricky to play, and also, of course, Metagross is a little bit tricky to play, but they are kind of rare. Like, I did not really encounter too many of them, so I feel like this is going to be still a solid team to run. And I don't think there's going to be any team that's perfect. That's kind of something that I also realized here from playing those battles. I feel like with the current meta and the power creep that we had, there is not going to be a team that is fully like non-legendary, that's literally perfect and that's like one of the best teams ever. But those teams are definitely solid and very playable. As you can see here, I got a 5-0 with the final team here. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.